Welcome to the Raven Space on YouTube. My name is Jason, and this is Raven Space Daily, where we talk about Baltimore Ravens news every single weekday. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. It's the first episode of the new year, so happy new year. Was not the best new year for us Ravens fans, but again, you made it to a new year healthy, so congratulations. We're going to get into the show. We have some good topics for you guys today. First, we're going to talk about some changes coming to the Raven Space. Then we'll talk about Greg Roman being promoted. And then we're going to talk about the Associated Press naming 2 players second team pros. Then, of course, my favorite segments of the day, the mailbag and the comment of the day. And it's how you guys, the Raven Space community, get involved. So please, please, please drop a comment or a question in the comment section below. Now let's start the show with the first topic of the day about changes coming to the Ravens space. So guys, if you guys don't know, the Raven Space is on a bevy of different channels, different ways you can get it, all this type of stuff. And for order for me to do that stuff, make more videos in the off season, I will have to change the way that the site is structured and everything is structured. So first thing is first, Raven Space Daily will only be 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll change the name to the Raven Space News Show. Again, 3 days a week. This might go back up to 5 in the regular season. I don't know yet, but right now it's 3 days a week. Second thing, podcast will be coming back. There will be a long podcast for you guys to watch, get into. It will also be on iTunes. It'll also be on wherever you listen to podcasts. We're going to try to get it there. So please, please, please check it out. It's pretty awesome. We're going to have guests come in and out. Sometimes it's going to be people who help with the Raven Space, like Steven. And sometimes it will be fans like you guys talking about the Ravens. And we're just going to talk about Ravens topics. So it's going to be awesome. And then we have a lot of different things coming. You'll see some videos return that were there last off season. You'll see some new videos, and you'll see some old videos you like the Raven Space breakdown. Even though the regular season is over, I'll still analyze some of the best plays that the Baltimore Ravens made in the year. So it's going to be exciting to go into this new off season with you guys. So I'm excited about that. We have other things coming. For example, the Raven Space website was down. It's coming back. We have a team of writers now. So we're going to give you content every single day. And some of that might even be used here on our show. So that's it for that part. Again, we're trying to grow. We're trying to do this thing. Sorry I had to cut it down to 3 days a week, but I had to do what I had to do. If you guys wanted the Raven Space to stay, I had to cut it down to 3 days a week. So now we're going to go to the second topic of the day. And this topic is back to Ravens football. The Ravens will retain Greg Roman by promoting him to assistant head coach. Now, I don't understand this. Excuse me. Greg Roman did a great job. Greg Roman did a great job revitalizing the run game, right? And for that, he should be the offensive coordinator. What the hell is the assistant head coach do? Does the assistant head coach get more power than the offensive coordinator? Who makes the offensive game plan, right? Because the title head coach makes it seem to me that he has more power than Marty Mornhinweg, who's the offensive coordinator. So what if they don't agree on the game plan? Does Greg Roman get to say no? And then Marty has to change it? Does Marty get to say yes and Greg has to deal with it? What happens here? I think that this is confusing. I think when it comes to Ravens offense, specifically the Ravens offense under John Harbaugh, we have more confusing things happening here. I just don't understand. A couple of years ago, if you guys remember, we brought in a defensive coordinator to be an offensive line coach, which did not work. We tried to switch to the zone run scheme. It did not work. Now, last year it worked having Greg Roman, put in a run game. But now we're just going to now promote him over the offensive coordinator. Like, I just don't understand who has the power. If you guys know, put in the comments below. That's the big shocker here. Who has the power? What's happening? I thought Roman was going to go to offensive coordinator, and then you could see Marty going down to quarterback coach or something like that. but instead they seem to have done the other way around, which is super confusing to me, and I just don't know what's going to happen on offense and with the scheme, and who's going to have more of an imprint on the overall scheme now, the assistant head coach or your offensive coordinator. Who knows? Now we're going to move on to the second topic of the day, where the Associated Press named Justin Tucker and C.J. Mosley to the second All-Pro team. If you guys don't know, the Associated Press picks position by position the best players in the league. It's not separated by age. It's not separated by conference. Not separated by anything except for who was the best. And then you have the first team, the second team, and the third team. No Ravens made the first team. Sorry, not the third team. The first team and the second team. No Ravens made the first team. Only 2 Ravens made the second team. C.J. Mosley, and then of course the great one, Justin Tucker. Am I upset by this? A little bit. Again, we didn't have a lot of offensive players make any big, splash. So I can't argue with that. Sam Cook, man, Sam Cook. He has to be on one of these teams. And in my opinion, again, we saw this year, not only did we see him kick a perfect punt, which literally bounced on the half-yard line and did not go into the end zone, but it didn't get called correctly. But we saw that, and we saw a punter who had like a perfect punting game. Like, he literally put 5 kicks inside the 10. But I guess that was not enough. Again, a lot of teams had a good year. I'm not upset about Tucker being the second team All-Pro kicker, because honestly, the person who got voted in front of him, Greg Zuerlein, had a great year, is a great kicker. And then, in my opinion, the Steelers kicker, Boswell, hit more clutch kicks. So both of those arguments can be made. I'm not mad at that. Weddle and Cook did receive some first team votes. Other players did as well, including Marshall Yanda. Wow, crazy. Marshall Yanda did receive first team votes. I don't know if that says something about Yanda or if it says something about the people who they have in charge making these decisions, that a person that played less than half the season can get a vote. So it is what it is. But these 2 players, Tucker and Mosley, right now are looked at as the best players on the Ravens by the Associated Press, and I wouldn't be mad about that either. Now we're going to go to the mailbag question of the day, sponsored by the Raven Space Patreon. If you guys want to join the Raven Space Patreon, please look at the description below. It helps us grow. It helps us thrive. And without you guys, the Raven Space would not exist at all. So thank you guys so much. And now the question comes from Ed the Geek 5, and he said, considering how Collins is playing, should we still look for a running back in the early rounds of the draft? Thank you so much for the question, Ed. And I think this is actually a harder question, because we did see Alex Collins trail off toward the end of the season. Again, the last 3 games really wasn't much of a factor. The last game he had some pop, but the 2 games before that definitely was not a factor. So this is hard, because do you bring him? Do you say in your head, not only is he going to be the starter, but he's so good that we don't have to get anyone else, right? Ken Dixon is so good as a backup, we don't have to look into the draft. I would say not with your first round pick, but with your second round pick, you can look at it, I think, if you can find one of those players. Now, he has to be one of those players. If you do not think he can be your running back for the next 7-8 years, do not draft him. Running backs are a dime a dozen. If he's not a franchise running back, do not draft him. If you don't think he's Ezekiel Elliott, do not draft him. If you do not think he's Leonard Fournette, do not draft him. Okay? Other than that, other than people like that, they're just, running backs are not worth it. You can find them again and again and again. For example, we found Alex Collins, right? 1,000 yards. Honestly, he may not get back to that next year. Just like Justin Forsett. The 1,000 yards next year was not that. It happens in this league to running backs unless you are one of the great ones. So if it's not one of those, if you do not think this will be a centerpiece for the offense for the rest of his career, or maybe, for the, 2/3 of it, do not draft that guy because you're wasting the draft pick, honestly, because he'll probably get hurt, and he's only good till 30, right? That's how running backs roll. So, you know, that was a little harsh on running backs as a whole, but it's the truth. Go get an offensive lineman or a receiver to help out your offense versus a running back that, again, if you're down by 14, 17 points, running backs can help you. If you need to pass the ball in order to beat a team, running backs can help you unless they're one of the greats, like not the greats, but one of the high potential players like Ezekiel Elliott or Leonard Fournette. So now we're going to go to the comment of the day. And this comment comes from Noob City. And he says, I want DJ Moore. And I chose this because it symbolizes the Raven space moving to draft mode. You're going to see a lot of draft stories, a lot of what could have, what should have stories. And it is what it is. So this will start that. We're going to go into the draft. And I promise you guys, I'll do my homework and no one will know more about these prospects than me. So I promise you guys, keep on coming back for the Raven Space in the offseason. Thank you guys so much. Please subscribe to Raven Space on YouTube for the best Baltimore Ravens content on the internet. Also, like, share, and comment on this video. It helps us grow, and especially share. If you could share us on Facebook, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much, and go Ravens.